Good afternoon, everyone out there on the interwebs. My name is Jared, and this is my channel Mazda B3K. This video, we are going to do something that I think a lot of folks are going to want to see. It's a common item that gets overlooked, and it can be kind of annoying to replace the secondary one. So in this video, we are replacing both of the cabin air filters in my wife's 2016 Ford Transit Connect. Without further ado, let's get started. We are going to start with the front main filter first. It is located in the front passenger footwell under the glove box. Today's flavor is a Bosch 6043C premium cabin air filter. It's even blue. Look at that. Nice. Now, the filter's door is right here where my finger is, and it goes up further, but we got to get some stuff out of the way before we can start working on that. This soft cover has got to go. You're going to need a cat claw, trim tool, whatever you want to call it. It's got 1, 2, they got to go. Let me go get that and we'll pull them. All right, we have 1 right there. It's kind of get under it. Okay, I'm gonna have fun finding that. Anyway, that's all you really need to pull. This should pop out now. And all right, if you've never been here before, welcome to behind the soft cover. This is where your passenger fuse panel is, if you're ever curious about that. And then over here is our filter door. Now, I can tell you from experience, because I've changed this before, you want to get these cam locks out of the way. These connectors with cam locks. You want to pop these loose. I have to remember how to pop them loose. But you want them out of the way, because otherwise they're in the way of the filter when you try to slide it in, and it makes a giant mess. So I can't remember if this is a squeeze and flip, or a push and flip, or a pull down and flip, but there is a trick to popping these. Let me work on that. I'll bring you back. Okay, figured it out. What it is you squeeze right where the locking lever is, and that lets the locking lever go past. Comes right out, and you notice they are color coded. They're only going to go in one spot, so don't worry about sticking the wrong connector in the wrong place. Now that we've done that, we can work on getting this door out, which is not super tricky. I'm trying to see if I can do this and still film it. Oh, I wasn't meant to bend this way. Alright, I think that'll work. So you see this tab? There, you just got half of it. See that tab? Pull that. Out she goes. There's your filter. You just reach in there. Pull her out. Now you see why I said pull those cam locks out of the way. Otherwise they are in the way when you pull this guy out. Alright. Oi. Ah. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my. Little bits when I think a mouse visited couple years back. Okay, that's cool. So the airflow is coming from the engine bay inwards, so you want the arrow pointing inwards when you put these in. But there you go. So now we're just going to grab the new one and replace. Okay, I'm definitely going to need two hands to do this, but some quick pointers here. When you put this filter back in, on the Bosch, the airflow marker's on the bottom. But again, you want the air's flowing in towards you in the passenger compartment from the engine bay. So you're going to want this foam strip on the right, on the back, because that's where your seal needs to be made to force the air to go through the filter. When you go to put this in, you're going to have to squiggle and wiggle with it a little bit. So be careful you don't tear any pleats or anything like that. And this filter can squish a bit. So if you need to squish it a little bit, you can. But I cannot get a camera in there and get this thing back in. So you just have to line it up from where you saw me take it out a moment ago and just kind of gently work it in. Okay. So we're back in. And I put the door back in. And again, the door just pops right back in. The tabs are at the bottom. And those are the only two tabs. Now right here, I'd forgotten there is a screw hole. I cannot remember for the life of me if that had a screw in it when I first took this out. It may have. If so, you'll need to remove that first before you take the door off. But that's it. That's the front filter. It goes way, way, way easier if you take these out. Now let me show you how to put these back in. Because if you were to try to crank your car right now, it would be really, really unhappy. Alright, so swing these back out. You're going to do the top first. So remember, these are keyed. They can only go in one way, in one place. They are designed that way from the factory to make your life easier. So that one's in. Then you pull this down until it clicks. Bam, done. Sink the second one. Pull it down until it clicks. Done. All right, number 3. And remember, these are keyed. They will only go one way. You cannot put them in the wrong place unless you break something. And you may hear some electronics whirling whenever you lock these back in position. Make sure you do have them locked in position. Give them each a tug. Yeah. All right. These are all back in. So now we can put our soft cover back up. Here we are. This one's pretty easy to tell where it goes. It has a cutout for the floor vent. So, I mean, it's pretty laid out. My suggestion to you is to go ahead and insert the first part of the push pin. Yes, forgive me. I cannot see because of glare from the sun. So there. Okay. It's right there. I can't tell that's not fuzzy or not. The sun's in the way. That's what happens when you don't have a shop, kiddies. Okay, so push it in like that. Now notice there are no fasteners in the back, but this may tuck into something. It looks like it does right there. You see that little shelf right there? Yeah, I bet you it tucks right in. Yep, sure does. All right, so let's get these lined up. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. All right, so it'll sit alone, but if you want it tight, you got to put this guy in. Now notice, look at that end, it's keyed. So make sure you insert these correctly, and you just push them back in with your fingers, and then you're done. Okay, now it is time for the rear passenger filter, which is this guy here. He's a bit different, not as nice. It's like a secondary pollen filter. As you can see, this is an official Ford part because this filter is really hard to find. So catch that part number, people. DV6118D543AA. this thing's a pain in the butt to find. You notice it says Ford of Europe, right? Well, in case you didn't know, if you have a Transit Connect, these things were assembled in Valencia, Spain, and they're pretty common over in Europe. That's why they're so small as well. They were originally designed to be a van for Europe, where things are closer together and parking lots are smaller, and overall big vehicles just don't do well over there. And then Ford started bringing them over here. Folks started enjoying them. Anyway, it is just about impossible to find this thing locally. I got this one off of eBay, I think. And yeah, expect to pay like $30 for this thing. It's ridiculous. All right, moving on. I need to excavate. My wife stays pretty busy. But the filter is located under the front driver's seat. So let me get some junk out of the way and I'll point it out. Okay, here it is. This is underneath the front driver's seat. That's the filter basket. And that is a very unhappy filter. So I cannot remember if there's more than one screw, but this is a Torx. Don't remember the size, so I brought my kit out. Got this at Harbor Freight. Love this thing. I have used it over and over and over again. Let's see. This is a T20. And it uses a 1/4 drive socket. And it should work out pretty nicely to break that loose and get it out. I'm going to check the other side as well to see if we have another screw around the front side. And don't forget, you're going to need to slide the driver's seat as far forward as you can to get access to this side, and you may need to slide it all the way back to get access to the other side. Alright, after you get the screw out, you're going to want to take a flathead, push about right there. You're going to push towards the front. You push hard enough, it pops loose, and then the basket can be removed. If I can get it out. Okay, there it goes. There's a whole bunch of plastic down here that gets in your way, so let's kind of fight with it to get it out. Alright, it's out. And as you can see, this basket is nasty. Alright, I'm trying to remember how you get this out. I seem to remember there's two rings here. There's a locking ring, that's what I got my thumb on. And there's a trick to popping it loose, and then you can actually change out the filter basket. So let me check that. Okay, I'm back. So basically you just lift it up. There you have it. Comes right out. Oh my. My. That was nasty. I changed this out, I don't know, 70,000 miles ago. I've been a bit delinquent. But you've got these tabs that act as a lock for this inner ring. So the camera can actually focus. It's been pretty bad about that today. There we go. I think there's 3 of these, and they lock in to little positions like that on the big basket. So at this point, we're going to take our new filter. We'll slide it on. We'll put it all back together. Then we've got to fight it to get it back in there, and then you have to position it just so that when it locks, the screw hole lines up. And then we're done. Once we get the screw in. Alright, so this is what we look like once we've locked our ring back in. Bear in mind those little guides I showed you, they're not symmetrical, so this is keyed. It can only go back in one way. And you're going to want to put it in with the outer coming down on the inner, because there's not really anything that holds this filter in place. It'll slide off the inner ring. We got that, and now we got to wrestle it back into position, remembering that where that yellow mark is, we need to get that to line up. That's the only screw hole. So this is kind of like a locking ring for a fuel pump on a gas tank. Sort of like that. And this is ridiculous. We got to get it under this HVAC over here. All right, we did that. And now it doesn't want to rotate, and we need it to rotate because we're not lined up. Let me fight with this, and I'll bring you back. All right, when you put this basket back on, I want to direct your attention to that sliding tab. Remember, you don't want to try to put this directly on top of its companion screw hole because it's got to lock into position. And once it's in the locked position, that's when the whole screw hole should line up and you can put your torque screw back in. So you're going to take this whole assembly and you're going to rotate it towards you until you hear it click. Notice that little tab is all the way on the right now versus being on the left. So now our filter basket is back in place and we can put our screw back in and we're done. And that is it. We're back in. I only made that snug. I didn't put much torque on it at all. That's all plastic. You torque it too hard, you'll strip it right through and then it'll be useless. So just a little bit, make it snug, make sure it doesn't run away on you. And that's it. I'm not sure how often you should replace this. I guess it's, I don't know, every 30,000 miles or so. It's going to depend on where you drive, how you drive. Do you have kids like I do that trash everything? In any case, it's going to be clean for a little bit. Mission accomplished. All right, guys, that will do it for cabin air filter replacement for my 2016 Ford Transit Connect. If you learned something, leave a comment. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. I'll see you guys later.